from my living room. Today I'm offering a 60-minute Mellow yoga class. This class is really designed to be gentle, to ease you either into the beginning of your day or maybe wind down towards the end of your day. So while we'll have some customizations and some modifications to either bring up your energy or kind of calm things down and smooth things down a notch, this will really be designed to be a gentler class. So if you'd like, you can grab some props to have near you for your home practice. If you've got yoga blocks or maybe a nice big book or picture album, that's good to have nearby. Maybe a nice cushion or a bolster, pillow to sit on if you'd like. And you may also find a strap or a hand towel to be useful for some of these poses. So if you'd like to pause the video and gather those things, you're certainly welcome to do so. And when you're ready, I would invite you to come to a comfortable seated position. And maybe you're sitting on a cushion or a bolster like I am, or maybe you're just seated on your mat, on your floor. And come to that comfortable seat and bring your shoulders to stack neatly above your hips. Maybe roll the shoulder heads back and maybe pin the shoulder blades together or bring them together across your back. You've been sitting at a desk or on a couch. You may feel a little tight in the shoulders. Maybe you start to hunch forward. So we'll do a little bit of opening work to bring those shoulders back, to have a proud chest, and hopefully help you feel a little bit better through your back. And so as you're settling into your comfortable seat, you can feel free to blink your eyes closed or have a half gaze if you like. And start to breathe and be aware of your breathing, drawing the inhale in through the nose and exhaling out through the nose for approximately the same amount of time as your inhale. And as you breathe, clear away any thoughts or distractions that may arise. And just come back to that focus on the breath and the noticing of the sensations that arise in your body throughout the practice. This is a nice time if you'd like to set an intention or a sankalpa for your practice today. It could be something you'd like to keep thinking about, or someone or somewhere that you'd like to send out your energy. If you'd like to do that, maybe bring that thought into your mind at this time. And send your focus to that intention as we continue to inhale and exhale, just settling in, preparing for the practice today. And then as you're ready, blink your eyes open. I would invite you maybe to consider removing the cushion or the bolster and coming to a seat on your mat. We'll get started with some stretches here on the floor. And so the left hand will plant down on the ground next to your left hip, and on the inhale, we'll reach the right arm up to the sky. Lift the crown of the head towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, reach over to the left side, pressing into your left hand for support, reaching the right arm long overhead. Noticing maybe a stretch down the right side body as the left side compresses. Continuing to breathe and opening up those little tiny intercostal muscles between the rib cage on the right side of the body. We'll inhale up through center. Right hand plants down to the ground. Left arm, inhale up to the ceiling, stretch tall, and exhaling, reaching over to the right side this time. And making sure as you stretch and reach to keep both sit bones firmly planted on your mat. You start to pull up, maybe just back out of the stretch a little bit. Don't need to go too far here. And continuing that even, easy breath in and out through the nose. And then inhale back up to center. Hand down to the floor. Continue with some seated twists. And so the right hand comes to the left knee. The left hand plants on the ground behind the back, close to the seat, acting like a kickstand. And inhale, stretch the crown of the head tall, and on your exhale, start to pull on the left knee with the right hand. And turn your gaze over that left shoulder, twisting your spine from the top to the bottom. Continuing to breathe even though the lungs and the stomach feel compressed as you twist. Breathing into the backs and the tops of the lungs. Maybe on every inhale, growing a little taller. On the exhale, maybe just thinking about looking 1 millimeter further. And then release, turning back through center slowly, gently. And taking the opposite twist with the left hand to the right knee. And the right hand, again, plants behind the seat like a kickstand. And we inhale and stretch the crown of the head up to the sky. And on the exhale, start to twist over the right shoulder. You may notice that one side feels different than the other. And that's totally normal, nothing to be concerned about. You may notice little asymmetries in your body, but there's really nothing to ascribe any judgment to. And releasing, come back to center. We'll work again into those shoulders a little bit here. So if you're familiar with Garudasana, eagle pose, we'll take eagle arms. And what I mean by that is we'll reach the arms up and forward, and we'll wrap the right arm, elbow, underneath the left elbow, bringing the fingers together, palms of the hands together. Now, if that's not quite accessible, or if it just doesn't feel good, give yourself a hug instead, reaching towards the shoulders. And so once you've got where you want to be with the eagle arms, what I'll invite us to do is take some cat-cow-like breathing with this eagle wrap of the arms. And so on an exhale, we'll fold forward, curving the back, dropping the shoulders and the head down towards looking at the floor. And then on an inhale, lifting up, straightening the back, raising up those elbows, maybe just a little higher. And exhale, round the spine, gazing down towards the earth. And inhale, rising up, lifting the arms. Maybe giving one little last stretch up towards the ceiling with those hands at the top. And we'll take this one more time, exhaling, rounding forward, pulling the navel into the spine. Inhale, uncurling, lifting, unfolding, unfurling. And we'll release the eagle arms. Take an inhale, exhale, cycle. And then we'll switch out the arms. This time, the left wraps under the right. And again, you can take that shoulder hug if the wrapped arms are just not feeling right now. And once we're set up, we'll exhale, curving forward, hunching, really rounding shoulders, curving the spine, articulating every vertebrae, and then we'll inhale and we'll straighten back up, stacking the shoulders over the hips again, lifting the wrapped arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, round forward. Inhale, uncurl and come back to an upright position. And final time, rounding forward with the shoulders, maybe the stretches intensifying a little. And inhale, to seated. Maybe one more little reach up to the ceiling. And unwind. Taking a moment. And coming forward into our tabletop position. So in tabletop, you'll want to ensure that the creases of your wrists are parallel with the top of your space, that your elbows are stacked directly over the wrists, and that the shoulders are directly over the elbows. And with the knees planted on the earth, you'll want the hips directly stacked above them. And from here, we'll take some more of that continued spine movement with cat-cow. So we'll inhale, drop the belly to the earth, and lift the crown up to the ceiling. Exhale, reverse it, arching the spine, pushing the floor away, dropping the head to the ground. Continuing with a few more rounds of inhaling into cow pose, exhaling into cat, maybe working out some more stiffness in the spine, bringing a little more fluidity to how the back feels. Opening up the muscles up and down each side of the spine, just to release maybe some places where you might feel a little stuck. And so wherever you are, let's drop the belly, take one more round. Inhale into cow. And exhale, arch that spine like a kitty cat that had its tail stepped on maybe. And then come back to neutral. And from here, we'll touch the core with a little bit of bird dog. And we'll start with the right arm, left leg, lifting arm and leg together, flexing through the heel, reaching the hand forward, setting it down. Take a few more rounds of that. Inhale, lifting up, right hand reaching forward, left leg stretching back out from the heart. And exhale, release. Inhale, reaching the hand forward like you're reaching out to someone. And exhale, float it down. Inhale, lift, pressing through the heel as if you could stand on the wall behind you. And exhale, release. Last one on this side. Inhale, lift up, hold for just a moment at the top, and then coming back to our tabletop position. And we're going to switch over to the opposite arm and leg. Inhale, lifting, reaching forward with the left hand, pinky rotated down to the floor. Exhale, release. Inhale, float the left arm, right leg up this time. And let it go. Inhale, lift up, pressing firmly through the right hand into the floor for balance. Exhale down. Inhale, lift, left arm, right leg, squeeze at the top and lower down. The last one, maybe you're feeling some heat in the body. Lifting the left arm, right leg, pushing through the right heel, and then setting it down. Let's take a couple of shoulder stretches here, threading the needle. And so on an inhale, reach the right arm up to the ceiling. And as you exhale, dive it through the space created by the left arm hand as it bends as you reach for the floor on the opposite side. You can place the palm down to the earth and lower the shoulder into the ground, maybe the right cheek to the ground. Stretching through the outside of the shoulder, keeping those hips nicely stacked above the knees. Inhale, unwind, coming back to tabletop. Then inhaling, left arm up to the sky and reaching it through underneath the right arm this time. Left cheek, left ear, maybe down to the earth. If you'd like to use pillow or rolled up blanket underneath for a little support, it's a great idea to do that. And then inhale back up to center. From here we'll take another stretch called puppy pose, lovely shoulder opener. And so starting from tabletop position, we'll walk our arms out, palms forward, and lower the chest towards the mat with the seat up in the air. And wherever you start to meet that resistance and that stretch, you just find that edge and you breathe into it. The chest lowers towards the mat, and maybe the chin extends out, and the arms reach forward, pressing the hands into the mat. Intense stretch through the shoulder, getting a nice arch in your lower lumbar spine. And breathing for just a few more moments here in puppy pose. Allowing the shoulders to open and maybe a little stimulation of our throat chakra to allow us to speak more truthfully to who we are. And let's crawl forward, lowering the hips and belly to the mat, bringing the hands back a little closer to underneath our shoulders and pushing into those hands, just into a baby cobra. Early in the practice, the back is still not very warm, so just pushing up as far as feels good. And then releasing, pulling back into a child's pose for a moment. Hips back towards the heels, and you can open the knees wide towards the sides of the mat or keep them parallel. You can drop the head down to the mat if you like. Maybe roll the forehead back and forth, side to side if you've got a headache or allergies or congestion that you're working with today. And then as you're ready, pulling up out of child's pose, and let's put those toes into the mat and lift up into a downward dog. Waking up the backs of the legs, bending the knees as much as you like in the downward dog to work with how you feel today. And taking movement if you like, so maybe bending one knee and straightening the other, walking out your dog. My cat just walked through my practice space. And just allowing the backs of the legs to enjoy a stretch here. Again, the wrist creases parallel to the front of the mat, pushing down into all four corners of the hands. And we'll take just a few gentle salutations here to warm up the body, nothing too wild. Stepping forward, the right foot to the front of the mat and the left foot meets. On an inhale, lift up halfway with a nice flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, stand firm in the feet and reach the arms up overhead, meeting in a prayer position. And then gathering them back to heart center, pausing for a moment. Inhale, reach those arms up overhead again, and then fall forward to the earth, folding all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant the palms, step the feet back into a plank pose, or lower the knees to the earth. And take chaturanga, lowering carefully. Inhaling into up dog or cobra pose. And then on your exhale, pulling back into downward facing dog. Take just 2 more of these just to continue building some warmth and fluidity. So right foot steps, left foot meets. Inhale, lift, keeping that back nice and flat, navel to spine, folding forward down to the earth. Inhale, stand firm and rise up, arms overhead, hands, palms to heart center. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead and swan dive down to the earth. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower and fold. Hands to the earth. Step back into your plank or knees to earth. Lower through the vinyasa, always feeling free to modify your vinyasa or skip your vinyasa and either pull back to downward dog or enjoy child's pose. At any point in practice, if you like child's pose, it's always on offer. And taking our last vinyasa, stepping forward, left foot meets. Inhale, lift, exhale, fold. Stand firm, root down to rise up, bringing your prayer back to heart center. Inhale, reaching arms up overhead and folding forward. Halfway lift on the inhale, exhale, fold, plant the palms, step the feet back, and take, modify, or skip your vinyasa as you like. You know what your body needs the most today. And from downward facing dog, let's walk the feet forward to the front of the mat. And just take a moment here to ragdoll. So you want to put a little bend in the back of your knees. Maybe it's a little bend, or maybe it's a big bend. However, feels good. And then grabbing the elbows. This is leaning forward in ragdoll pose, allowing that weight of the head and the chest and the arms to decompress the spine. Maybe feeling a stretch in the backs of the legs. Again, playing with the bend to find the sensation that serves you today. And then releasing the ragdoll arms. And let's just roll up very slowly, one vertebrae at a time, articulating each one until we come up to stand. And from here, we'll take another side stretch, sort of as we did on the floor, but this time standing. So inhale the right arm up to the ceiling. Left hand stays at the side. Inhale, lift up tall as you can, crown of the head to the ceiling, and then on your exhale, leaning over towards the left side of your space. Maybe the left hand slides down the leg. And keeping the two shoulders turning in the same plane. So maybe you have to scoop the left armpit a little bit forward. Noticing that stretch again on the right side body. And if it feels any different. And inhaling back up through center. Switching out the arms to take the other side. Left arm lifts on an inhale, stretch tall, and on an exhale. Bending over towards the right side of the space. Again, keeping the shoulders in one line and maybe even the two hips in one line from the side. Cognizant of alignment and noticing a stretch through the left side body. And inhaling back up to center. And we'll come forward to the front of the mat. We'll take a few standing poses. So beginning with the feet nicely together. We'll step back with the right leg. And we'll come into warrior one pose. And so the left foot is perpendicular to the front of the mat. The knee stacks nicely over the ankle. And the right hip point is pointing up towards the right front corner of your mat. The right foot is at about a 45-degree angle. Arms reaching to the ceiling, long and strong. And we'll open now out into warrior two. Arms out from heart center to the front and back of the space. And the hips open to the side of the space. Noticing stretching maybe through the right hip, right groin area. Gazing out over the left hand. Continuing to breathe in and out through the nose. And straighten that left leg. And we'll turn our toes out opposite away from each other. And we'll reach the arms up overhead, and we'll take a goddess squat here, bending the knees and lowering the torso, chest, hips, seat towards the earth, goalpost or cactus arms. Rotating hips open to the sides. You can feel vulnerable, but it's counteracted by this proud chest and strong breath. And inhale, straighten the legs, hands to the hips, parallel the feet. And here let's take, if you like, a bind in the shoulders, clasping the hands behind. And if you like, this is where the strap comes nice and handy. You can hold it like this so you're not clasping the hands together if that's too much sensation. And we'll fold forward, bringing the arms, hands with us. Releasing the head towards the earth like we did in Ragdoll. Noticing a stretch down the backs of the legs, maybe rolling the weight towards the toes. Opening through the shoulders and through the backs of those hamstrings, calves. And releasing the arms, bringing the hands back to the hips. Let's slowly, gently stand all the way up with a nice flat back. And we'll come back to the front of our space and we'll do that same sequence of poses again. I'm actually going to turn around here so that you'll see the front body. So standing with the toes together. Stepping back with the left leg, arms up overhead. Again, just making sure that the knee does not go forward of those right toes, and that it doesn't cave in, hiding the instep of the right foot. And breathing here in our strong warrior one. And opening up into warrior two on the right leg. Gazing out over the right hand. Opening through the left hip. Maybe noticing if sensation is building in that right thigh. You can always just come a little bit up out of the pose if the legs are tired from whatever you've been doing. And straighten the front leg. Again, let's open those toes out to the side. Reach the arms up to the ceiling and relax down into our goddess squat. We'll be here for a few rounds of breath. Just channeling goddess energy like warrior energy. So firm through our strong legs with that lifted heart and chest. And then inhale, release, parallel the legs. Reach back behind you for that bind, but this time place the other thumb on top, the one that feels a little weird, that's not your dominant hand. And again, grab the strap if that's helpful. And let's fold forward with a flat back into a nice wide-legged forward fold. Allowing the shoulders to open up and the backs of the legs to open up. And maybe if we built up a little bit of a excited energy in those standing poses, then allowing that to relax and settle. A few more rounds of breath here. Release the bind. Hands to the hips. Nice flat back, navel to spine, standing all the way up. And coming back to the front of our space, take tree pose here. So grounding through the left foot into the mat, and we'll reach our right foot up, the sole of the right foot coming to rest somewhere on the inside of the left leg. Can be the calf, the ankle, maybe as high as the inner thigh, but just don't press against that left knee with the foot. And any arm variation you like. Prayer pose is a nice one. You could reach the arms up like a tree limb reaching towards the sky. I think my tree's a little wobbly today, so I'm going to go with the hands at heart center and breathing, feeling the balance, feeling the even weight distribution through the left foot. Maybe squeezing the left quadricep so that the left kneecap lifts. Maybe that helps with stability, or finding a nice steady gazing point, something that's not moving that you can focus on while we stand firm in our tree. And releasing, allowing the right foot to come back to stand. Maybe just taking a moment here in Tadasana, mountain pose. And then placing the weight into the right foot and finding somewhere along the inside of the right thigh or calf, somewhere along the inside of the right leg for that left sole of the foot to come to rest. Again, just being careful of the right knee and finding an arm position that speaks to you. Tree pose is one of the most, I find to be one of the most challenging poses because it's so simple, but it's never easy. But here we learn to stand firm, to balance and be flexible with whatever's buffeting around us. Just like the trees outside in a storm. And if you fall out, come back in. It's yoga practice, not yoga perfect. And releasing the left side. Let's step the feet nice and wide, about as wide as our mat. And take the hands to prayer position. And we'll squat all the way down in Yogi Squat Malasana to come down to transition to the floor. And another good place, if you've got blocks or that picture album, you can put that right underneath of your seat and lower your weight, your sit bones onto that block. And press the elbows into the knees, encouraging some stretching, openness, and maybe through the inner thighs, the inner groin area, opening up hips that might be tight from maybe a lot of running or cycling, or maybe just too much time in front of the laptop or in the car, or whatever the case may be. Taking a few moments here to breathe. And let's remove the block if we're using one. Set it to the side. And we'll take some hamstring stretches here. Janishasana. Coming to the seat. And bringing, again, the sole of the right foot to the inside of the left leg, like we did in tree pose, but no worries about balance this time. And if you have that strap or that towel again, you might wish to use it for this pose. And the way you can do that is by putting that strap around the ball of your foot. And we'll fold forward out over that left leg. And grab whatever, if you can grab your feet or your calf or your ankle, or if you're gonna walk your hands down with the strap, fold over and get a stretch through the back of that left leg, flexing the toes up towards the ceiling. Giving the hamstring some attention, and we've done that in a few of the poses today because hamstrings can tighten up, and when they tighten up they can affect the lower back, and you can get some discomfort because everything in the back body is a little connected, and so it's nice to work those hamstrings to help loosen up some of those places where you might feel tight or sore. And And then uncurling from the side, walking yourself back up the strap, and we'll switch legs, take the other side. And so the right leg extends, toes up to the ceiling, and the left foot finds a spot on the inside of that right leg. And if you want to use the strap, you can use the strap. And if you're not using the strap, you can inhale the arms up overhead and turn the body and fold out over the right leg. Again, just reaching wherever you can reach, finding your edge today, wherever that might be. It's going to be different day to day. So just noticing, and maybe it's different one side to the other. Just totally normal, nothing to be concerned about. Breathing into the back of that right leg. And inhaling, coming back up to center, and we'll take both sides this time and fold towards the middle. And so legs will extend out to wherever you're comfortable. And then walking down on maybe the elbows. If you have blocks, maybe you like to pull those blocks to you and to use them under your elbows for a little support, brings the floor a little closer to you. If you're super flexy bendy, you might go all the way forward. Wherever your edge is, find it and breathe into it, and don't push past anything that's sharp or painful. Taking a few moments here, allowing the opening to occur through all those deep layers of fascia and muscle. Coming back to the focus on the breathing, and maybe to the intention you set at the beginning of class if you chose to work with one today. And coming back up through center, folding the legs back in. Let's come up on our knees, and from here we'll take a low lunge, stepping the right foot forward. And you can bring the hands up to the top of the right knee. From here you've got some options. You can stay as is here in low lunge. If you'd like to take a runner's lunge, you can lift that left knee up off of the floor, and the hands will plant to the inside of the right foot. And if you want to take a lizard pose, and you know what that is, you can maybe come down onto the elbows and maybe roll to the outside of the right foot, just opening into that hip flexor stretch. Maybe a little snap, crackle, pop somewhere in the knees. And then we'll ease out of whatever lunge we're in. Pull the hips back over the knees, extend the right foot out, flex the right toes, and we'll do another hamstring stretch here. Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. And again, blocks can come in handy. You can take one on either side of the right foot, bring the floor closer, and we'll fold over that right leg. Maybe drop the crown of the head towards the leg, towards the floor, if that feels good to you and accessible. And breathing into the back of that hamstring. Just a little bit more love while it's all nice and warmed up here from what we've been doing. Keeping those toes flexed up to the ceiling. And if the sensation starts to get intense, just breathing through it, so long as it's not sharp or painful. If it is, come out slowly. And let's lift out of the arms, bring the right knee back to meet the left, and we'll step the left foot forward into our low lunge. Maybe the hands up to the top of the left knee, Or if you'd like to go into runner's lunge, lifting the right knee up off of the floor, activating the right thigh. Or if you'd like to continue into lizard lunge, coming down onto the elbows and rolling to the outside of the left foot. Wherever you are, whatever you feel like serves you in your practice today, just finding that, breathing into it for a few rounds of breath here. We can carry so much tension and stress in our hips, and it helps to release some of that by focusing on poses that stretch and open them. And when you're ready, coming out of whatever variation you're in, pulling those hips back, flexing the toe up to the ceiling. Again, maybe finding the blocks. Hands to either side of the left foot, and we fold over the left leg for half splits pose. Maybe noticing how different the hamstring feels from when we began the practice. From that very first down dog, maybe the cobwebs have been swept away a little bit. Maybe you're noticing some more space. And breathing into that. And then unfolding. We'll transition over onto our backs. We're going to move into bridge pose. And we'll lie back all the way on our backs, keeping the knees bent. Feet about hips distance apart, and maybe you bring the feet in so close to your seat that you can brush the heels with your fingertips. A good alignment to be in for bridge pose. And from here, press through the balls, heels of your feet to lift the hips up off of the mat towards the ceiling. And if you like, you can stay here and you can press through the feet, lift up through the hips with the seat and the thighs activated, or you can take your block or book and you can slide it underneath, right at the top of your sacrum, like where your waistband is. Place it underneath and relax the weight down onto that block for a supported variation. You might need to play a little bit with the placement of the block to make sure it's in the right spot so that you feel supported and not so that the block feels sharp or painful in any way. And if you're in the active bridge and you choose to take the supportive bridge at any time, it is an option for sure. And let's lift up off of our block if we're using it, slide it out from underneath. And with the knees together, just kind of windshield wiper the knees back and forth just to release anything that might have crept in there in that bridge pose. And then from here, we'll take another hip stretch, reclined figure 4. And so beginning again with the feet about hips distance apart, knees bent, lifting the right leg up and crossing the ankle of the right foot at the left knee. And from there, lifting the left foot up off of the ground. And so from there, we'll reach through that shape that's created by the right leg crossing over and grab maybe the back of the left thigh or maybe the top of the left shin, whatever is accessible, and pull gently towards your chest so that both knees are gently pulling in towards the heart center. Being careful to keep that right foot flexed to protect the right knee while it's crossed over. And breathing into the stretch in the right hip, right IT band. This might feel really good. You've been doing a lot of running or a lot of sitting. It's the beauty of some of these poses. They're good whether you're very active or whether you haven't had a chance to be active. And inhaling, exhaling calmly through the nose as you breathe into the stretch. Maybe notice if it changes as we hold. And releasing left foot down to the mat, uncrossing the legs. And changing the cross, so the left leg rises, left ankle crosses over the right knee, and pulling the navel to the spine, supporting the low back, lifting right foot up from the earth and reaching through the cross of the legs to grab wherever you're grabbing today. Pulling it all towards you, keeping the left foot flexed. Again, to protect the integrity of the left knee. And the shoulders and the back of the head all lying flat against the earth. As you breathe into the opening, the stretching in the left hip this time. Just noticing what sensations are arising. Maybe noticing if you feel like you've got a little bit more openness in the hips than when you first began the practice today. And releasing. Taking a pose that's good for the digestive system here. The legs extend long and together out on the mat in front of you. This is called wind removing pose. And the right leg lifts, bending at the knee. And interlock the hands, interlacing the fingers just below the right knee. And pull the knee up towards the armpit, away to the side of your rib cage. And pull it down until you feel right where the hip starts to pinch, and then we'll hold it there and breathe. And both shoulders stay flat on the mat. And the head and the neck lie flat on the mat, the left leg long and heavy out in front. Compressing and massaging the digestive system on the right side of the body. And releasing the right leg long and extended out onto the mat. And this time bending the left leg up. Interlacing the hands over the left knee. And pulling that left knee up towards the armpit. Again, bringing the leg out alongside the rib cage instead of straight up towards the armpit. And finding that place, maybe it's a little different on this side, where you just start to feel that kind of pinched compression in your hip, and holding there, breathing, massaging this time the left side of the digestive organs, internal organs. This is a nice one if you're having any tummy issues. And releasing, final portion of this pose, both legs lift, bending, and reaching the arms around outside of the knees to hug those knees in as tight as you can to the chest. And so maybe you reach the elbows, maybe you reach the forearms, wherever you can grab on. So squeeze yourself into a nice tiny ball, again keeping the head and the shoulders and the neck all flat on the ground. Pressing the transverse abdominal area. Continuing to breathe while you're in this tight little ball. And releasing the legs out in front. And then from here, we'll take a final spine twist. So bending the knees back up to the center, lifting them up at a 45-degree angle, and just a simple twist. Reaching the right arm out from the shoulder and dropping the legs over towards the left side. Maybe with the encouragement of the left hand to the outside of that right knee. And gazing out over the right hand, palm to the earth. Allowing the floor to support you in this twist. Maybe comparing it to how the very first seated twist felt at the very beginning. Maybe noticing a sense of relaxation creeping up. And inhale the legs back up to center. Reach the left arm out, left palm to the earth, and drop the knees gently, carefully over to the right side. Maybe encouraging them along with the help of the right hand. Gazing out over the left palm. Maybe the gaze grows soft. As we take this one last rinse of the spine from top to bottom, neck all the way down to the lower back. And inhale the knees back up to center. Place the feet back down on the floor. And we'll take a Recline Batakanasana before we move into our Savasana. So the knees will open apart. And if you've got blocks, you might want to consider placing them sort of behind the outsides of the thighs if the hips are feeling tight today to support the opening. And if you're okay with not using the blocks, that's fine too. But we'll have the soles of the feet together, allow the knees to fall open. Placing the right hand at the heart center and the left hand at the belly. In Supta Baddhakonasana, allowing the hips to open, connecting with the feel of the heartbeat under the hand and the belly rising and the belly falling under our breath. For a few moments here. And I'll welcome you to stay in Baddhakonasana if you like for your Savasana. If you choose to take Savasana with the legs extended, gently closing the knees back together. Releasing the legs out long on the mat. Relaxing the arms down by your sides of the backs of the hands to the earth. Palms to the ceiling to receive all of the gifts of your practice today. You may close your eyes if you wish, or you may place an eye pillow over your eyes, heels together, toes fall apart. Maybe scanning through the body to check if there is any place where you are holding or gripping or squeezing or contracting, and inhaling, and then on an exhale, releasing whatever hold you have there. Relaxing the toes and the feet and the ankles. Relaxing the calves and the knees and the quadriceps. Relaxing the hips and the belly. Relaxing the fingers, the wrists. Relaxing the forearms and elbows. Relaxing the chest and the shoulders. Relaxing the neck. Relaxing the jaw and the tongue inside the mouth. Relaxing the eyes and the eyelids and the eyebrows, and relaxing that space between your eyebrows, and relaxing the forehead. Noticing the quality of your breath. And you're welcome to pause this video and stay here in final rest as long as you would like. If and when you're ready to move on, I invite you to wiggle your fingers and toes and bring some gentle movement back to the body. If it feels good to reach the arms out overhead and take a long good morning stretch, feel free to do that. And bend the knees, rolling over to your side to rest in a fetal position for a moment. Gently pressing yourself upright, back to a comfortable seat, maybe on your cushion. And just pausing for a few more moments to seal the practice. Maybe bringing your mind back to that intention, that sankalpa you set. Maybe just enjoying noticing a sense of calm and peace and how you feel. And I invite you to take this sense of calm and peace and this reservoir of whatever good feeling you have now out into the world, off of your mat, and share it with others around you as you go throughout the rest of your day. I'm thankful that you've come to practice with me, and I hope you return again. Namaste.